Hello, my friends. Welcome. This week, oh my gosh, we're going to talk money, but it's not scary. And I'm going to talk with Debra Ohstrom, who is a CFA, and her passion is really about making it not scary and making it so you can be successful and understand and really take care of it so that it's not scary and you know what to do and all of those good things. And listen, when we get near the end of the episode, you'll be able to hear how passionate she is about this. Have a listen. Let me know what you think. Connect with Debra. Make it an awesome day. Take care. See you later. Hi, my friends. Welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is Heather, and I am super excited that you're here. You are going to hear some tips and some tricks and some ideas to help you live your happiest and healthiest self. I call it Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, back to me, then you can take better care of others, and we can all make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way, and I am super happy that you're here. Hello, my friend. Welcome. I hope you're having an outstanding day. This is Heather. This is the Back to Me podcast. And today we are going to talk about money. And don't think that it's bad. It's not bad. I'm talking today. It's not bad. I'm talking today with Debra Ohstrom, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, and they might involve money, but stay with us. You'll actually enjoy it, and you'll learn lots of awesome things, right? Right, Debra?
Perfect. Yes. Thank you, Heather. I am so excited to be here and demystify money.
Oh my gosh.
Make people feel good.
Right? The whole, money is evil. It's not evil, friends. It's not evil. So, Debra, I always ask people first, how the heck did you get into this? What drew you into the world of being a CFA?
Yeah, crazy, right? It's definitely a male-dominated world. And so I grew up without any money, and my parents were divorced when I was very young, and watched my mother live a life of stress around money. And I saw that that's not what I wanted for myself. And so I went to school for accounting and finance and got a Chartered Financial Analyst designation, which is the CFA. And after being in the financial industry out of New York City for almost 30 years,
Wow,
for
talk about
most
stress.
of the big names that you've all heard of,
Right?
I'm like, why has nothing changed? Nothing has changed. Women are not in a better place, and it breaks my heart. So I really want to help change it, because it's not, and I know you, which is why I love talking to you about mindset and false beliefs. There's a lot of false beliefs around money, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Right. And it's interesting that you make that comment about women, especially. So, let alone the industry, and this isn't, if this isn't you, don't be offended, but a lot of women don't want to be bothered trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Do you find that?
But it's funny because, it's not that they don't want to be bothered. I think they're intimidated,
Right.
and they're scared, and they falsely believe it's complicated, and that, it's not attainable for them. And that's these false beliefs, because in actuality, it's not very different than anything else that's out there that they know about. I explain money and finances in a similar way as to your physical health. It's the same process. You assess, you have to want to make changes, pick your goals, and then build the plan to get where you want to go. It's not very different. It's just that in the financial world, 80%, and this is US stats, but 80% at least, of financial advisors here in the US are men, and communicate very differently than
They
women.
Yeah, my first career when I was a CPA, the firm that I entered had 19 partners. Only one of them was a woman. And it
Wow.
was the only firm in Ottawa that had a female partner,
Oh my,
right? And yeah, it was a few years ago. It was 1989. But still, you know,
right.
I heard somebody say the other it was on a comedy show. It's like, are we celebrating 100 years of not making any progress? Like, it's like the women's movement has been going for so long, and we have made progress. We have made progress, but in some ways, in some instances, we're still not all the way
Oh, absolutely.
right. And in some places these days, it seems to be headed back a
Back.
downward slide, right? Let's
Yeah.
not let's not talk about that. Um, but I like your so and your podcast is out too, which is the I love the name Busted Behavior Podcast. It's so
Busted
good.
behavior.
And
Yeah.
and on that podcast, you're going to address just kind of your things that
It,
come up, or
yeah, I mean, it is a little bit more broad based. It's not just about money, because I think the other thing that people don't realize is money is so intertwined in other beliefs and habits and attitudes and the psychology of who we are. So I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. So we talk about stories of things that happen to us, whether it's somebody else does something to us or we do it to ourselves. So we have these occurrences and we talk about a story and I bring in an expert, and then how do we fix this or make it better or handle it in a healthy way so that we can at least learn from it. So that's, I'm busting the busted behavior.
right? And I think a lot of times I like the name Busted Behavior a lot because we we don't recognize that our behavior is busted. We
Yeah.
think we think that we're fine. I do this all the time. I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. And then something will happen. I'm like, oh shoot, do I do that? So I like I like being able to use those stories because you can relate to them to help people see where they may be kicking themselves in the butt. You know, they might be causing their own problems. And it always, especially money related, it always reminds me of this, it's like people have this internal set point of where they think they, whether they think it's what they're valued at, or whether they think that's all they're allowed to have, or, this internal abundance set point. And you'll see it. I mean, the easiest example is the lottery winner. Suddenly they've got more than and their internal set point is,
Mhm.
so they make sure they lose it. Like, have behaviors that they don't recognize as damaging or don't recognize as sabotaging themselves, and then suddenly they're sometimes worse off than they were before.
Yeah, it is a shame of all the stories that you read about with all of the lottery winners. It's so true. And to me, I see how it relates to so many things with psychology and having healthy boundaries. When you have healthy boundaries in your relationships, just in general, right? And realizing that your time is a resource that you have to, give to people wisely. Your money is the same way. So you really want to set healthy boundaries around your money too, and make sure the people you surround yourself with um, are, instead of trying to surround yourself with people that you might feel you have to keep up with, you
Right.
want to find people that support you and you reaching your goals. And I feel like social media is such a, curse. I know in some ways it could be a blessing. Nothing is, all black and white, but the studies are out there of the detriment to children already and teenagers, especially teenage girls. And
Yeah.
it's this concept that comparison is the thief of joy. You're, you know, in life, there's always going to be somebody that makes more than you or less than you. And you just have to focus on your own life, your own situation, and your own goals, and just not care what other people think. It's really what it,
Right. And I mean, I'm on social media, obviously, and or maybe it's not obvious. I am on social media, and I have tempered myself now. I will go on it once or twice a day now, and I will look at what my friends are doing, but I tend not to look at the influencers because that is that is comparing yourself to something that's not real,
Mm-hmm.
right? So everything in influencers, everything in those big names, all the ads, it's almost like, when we used to, go to the kitchen during commercials, well, they just get a drink and ignore them. So they've been finding more and more ways to make sure that it's in front of us all the time. This is why you need this. You're lacking because you need this. You're lacking because you
Exactly.
need this. And they're getting the psychology of them is getting very intricate, and you don't even realize you're being manipulated. So I don't look at them because that's me comparing something that's been curated to be perfect on
Mm-hmm.
the outside against what I feel on the inside.
So true.
So instead of comparing, I saw this quote in a book a while ago, comparing your inside to someone else's outside. Instead of that, compare your inside to where you would like your inside to be,
There you go.
right? How
Yeah,
would I like to feel? Do I feel that now? Yeah, I do. Hooray, win. I don't. Okay, what do I have to do? Right? And
exactly.
I know that because we were talking about, I love the name of this too, the money map system. And the map stands for something.
Yes. So, mindset, assess your situation, pick your money goals, and then plan to invest.
See,
So,
easy.
it's a process. So, and once you follow the process, it gets you where you need to be. Doesn't have to be complicated. We don't need to overcomplicate things. Investing is the most important part because that's what makes your money grow. And I think there's a lot of false beliefs that you need to be a math expert, which is not true. It honestly, I teach people it's really about history and just combining investments in a strategic way so that it's kind of like really I liken it to putting a sports team together. You have offense, defense, and special teams,
Oh,
right? To help you handle whatever challenges come your way. You have different opponents during different times. So you just want to make sure you have the right team based on whatever the challenges might be, in the economic world that are going on. And then you really don't need to over adjust just once a year and then just continue to add to your account so it compounds over time.
do you find that, and this may be true of women more than men, just because of the way they think, that they think, I don't have enough to even bother with that?
Absolutely true. That's just one another false belief. And for those that do believe that, that's probably the number one thing that's hurting you because today you can start investing with $50, $100 a month. And actually, I think people don't understand once you start doing that, yes, it takes a lot of time, but that grows real wealth over time with the
Right.
power of compounding. And literally, if we could get every 30-year-old woman doing one or 200 bucks a month, we would have millions of 60-year-old women millionaires. And imagine what the world would be like if that many women had that much power
Right?
and confidence.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
And
Let's
it's
go,
totally
ladies.
possible. It's literally not hard. Like that totally could happen. So that's what I try to get out there. I'm very passionate about it because it drives me crazy because it really is that easy.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's just this false, you know, and I think it's partly due to the industry being in the US, the way the financial advice system works and the way advisors get compensated, they usually might have a minimum of assets before they're going to spend their time giving you advice. And I think that's where it comes in, where somebody thinks, oh, well, I don't have $500,000 or $1 million right now. So then I guess no advisor is going to talk to me. I must not have enough money. And that's what's broken in the US here. And that I'm trying to help change.
Right. And I was thinking about your comment about math. So you don't have to be able to calculate compounding. That's what computers are
No,
for.
it is exactly. And there's so many tools out there now, like investment calculators on the internet, free planning tools, apps. And but even besides all of that, if you just know with a few $100s a month, you can invest in a bundle, an ETF, a mutual fund. There's so many prepackaged ways that will grow your money for you. You just need to pay yourself first. You
Right.
just have to get started and increase it as your income increases.
Do you find that, because I've had some friends who it's almost like a trust factor. So for some people, it feels like they put financial advisors in the category of used car salesmen,
Oh,
which
wow. Mhm.
is unfair, but maybe not entirely untrue in some instances. Not you, though.
Well, I'm not an advisor. I'm an educator. I don't manage other people's money. And so this is the other thing. People don't understand the difference between a financial coach, a financial planner, and a financial advisor. Those are actually all different things.
Okay. Tell us what those are.
So a financial, and sometimes they might handle more than one thing, so that's why it blurs it.
Right.
But usually, a financial coach is helping you with a specific goal, like let's help you with budgeting and savings or teaching you educational things, but they don't give you investment advice. They're teaching you, helping you get started,
Right.
or and they usually charge a flat fee, right?
Like
To
a
help
how to
you.
organize yourself kind of thing.
Exactly. Or teach you, this is what investing is, because that's what I do, right? I teach somebody about investing so that they can then either do it themselves or hire the right person.
Right.
So, and a financial planner is someone that just focuses on building a comprehensive financial plan. So if you're someone who's, say, 55 and maybe you've got kids in college, you've got a pension, you have, a rental income, and you feel like you have this complicated financial situation, you want to make sure you're on track to retire. They've got a lot of complex software. They'll sit down with you, charge you a few $1,000s to build you a comprehensive plan with various scenarios, so that you can figure out what you need to do to live the type of retirement that you want.
Right.
Now, a financial advisor goes the step farther, and sometimes they also do the plan, but they then actually give you investment advice or manage the money for you and charge you a fee for that.
Right.
So the blurring of the lines is not all planners are advisors and not all advisors give you a plan. So
Right.
that's kind of these blurred lines. And then once you layer in a whole nother factor, and this goes to what you were saying, is that financial advisors work for different companies. And depending on who they work for and how they get paid will determine the type of advice they give you. And not all of it is the same. The fees aren't the same. The investments aren't the same. And that's where you get into this range of, if you don't understand what a reasonable fee is and how some of these fees can be embedded and hard to see, you don't know who to trust, because
Right.
a financial advisor that works for an insurance company is very different than a financial advisor that works for an independent family office or trust company who's a fiduciary. Some are fiduciaries and some are not. So that's the other issue in our industries, because how do you navigate that? It is terrible. That's what I would much rather give someone unbiased, objective advice that they pay a flat fee reasonable for, but then at least they're armed for the rest of their life and they can trust themselves to make good decisions and know, do I need to hire someone? Don't I?
Right.
Who can I hire? What kind of fees should I expect? And all that good stuff.
And it's true that a lot of people don't realize, like, they just throw everything into one pot and think it's too confusing, and okay, I don't care, I'm just gonna put it in the bank or put it in my mattress. Right.
Right. And
It won't earn anything in your mattress.
exactly. And that's even worse, because with inflation, so that's a guaranteed disaster. Not handling it anymore and ignoring it is almost worse than going with somebody that might overcharge you at this
Right.
point. With
Yeah.
inflation, you're just a guaranteed disaster.
It's going backwards. It's going backwards
Mhm.
instead of forwards. Yeah. And I mean, I do understand why people are intimidated. I mean, I was a CPA, and even now, even though I've been out of it for a long time, I still have friends who will come and ask me because they're intimidated by anything financial. They think they don't understand it. And if you can find someone to explain it to you in plain English, it's not actually complicated. And a
Exactly.
lot of the rules and a lot of the stuff, like, even I'm sure that they built those levels, those different um, designations as a way to protect consumers, but consumers don't always educate themselves on what the
Right.
differences are. And yeah, the fees. Oh my gosh. Did you ever read the Tony Robbins book on he was talking about investing, and he was talking about the fees inside mutual funds and whatnot. I kind of went, what?
I did not read it, but I heard a lot about it because, it was,
You're in the
but it's
industry.
true. Which is, that mutual funds hide the fees that financial advisors get. But now that you have something called exchange traded funds, which are an evolution off of mutual funds, that no longer happens. You can't hide your fees when an advisor is using exchange traded funds.
Right.
So as that evolves and more companies use exchange traded funds instead, because they are cheaper and they have all these benefits, I think our industry will be forced to change because it'll be more obvious about the fees that are getting charged.
Right. And so when you're helping people, so I know you have a master money workshop, which is on your website.
Yes, it's a free webinar to talk about why all of this is so important. and that's available all the time. And then I have my courses, whether that, feed into this MAP system, but it starts with building your plan and taking action, and then going into understanding the basics of investing and breaking it down in plain English.
Right.
So,
and I was going to ask you, do you work with individuals? Do you do group work? How do you work usually?
I do both. And I'm also starting to get out there on the road and do professional speaking for women and couples, because even the whole, couples issue, they talk about 40% of all couples argue about money.
Yeah.
And so if you're not on the same page and doing this together, it cause a lot of strife. But yeah, so I do have my courses out there. If someone feels like they need to have that conversation, um, that's a little more detailed and explaining, we can do one-on-one. So there's a lot of different ways to get help.
Have you heard of the money archetypes?
No, there's not that specifically.
It's from a coach whose name has left my mind. I apologize in advance. But she created this money archetypes, and it's almost like a personality type and how you handle money. Well, it is. It actually is not actually. It's not like it is how you handle money. And your comment about couples fighting about money. I heard an interview with someone else who uses that money archetype system to help couples. And she was talking about, one member of the couple might be the saver, who likes to just save and save and save and save. And the other one might be the maverick. They call it a maverick, which is let's just spend it and see what happens. So, and knowing that about the spending habits of the two people is important, but also knowing, like, I think it's always interesting to see personality tests. None of them are right entirely and none of them are wrong entirely. So I just find them fun. But it is interesting when you recognize the two differences between the couple. Like when my partner and I met, we realized we didn't know money archetypes at the time. He's the ant and I'm the grasshopper. So it's like, okay, how do we manage this? So we figured out how to manage that for ourselves. But also, if they're two different personalities deciding how to manage money or managing the couple's money differently, if you don't, I'm thinking if you don't have a mutually agreed upon goal, that's where you get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. You need to kind of each sit down and talk it, first outline what are your priorities, what are your values, how do you think about, exactly saving money, spending money, and then after you do this self-awareness assessment, it's then okay, let's come together and see, how far apart or how close are we on certain things, and, pick some priorities together, and then work towards that. And I mean, a lot of couples, if you have children, everyone wants to help with college costs. It's certainly a common goal. Investing for retirement, common goals, but you also need balance in life too. Everybody kind of has their thing that they do like to spend money on.
Right.
A lot of men like technology, women like other things. It can't be so restrictive, right? That's why health meal plans that are extremely restrictive never work. You can't live like that.
No.
So you need to find compromise, balance, and reaching your goals all at the same time.
And I guess the goals have to be relatively specific, because if you say to, the wife, we're going to save for retirement, she'll have her idea of what that looks like.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you say to the husband, we're saving for retirement, he has his idea of what that looks like. So then there's that disconnect. Well, we're saving for retirement. Yes, we are saving for retirement. So they agree, but not on how they're doing, not how it's done.
Right. You have to set a dollar amount. What does that look like? What is the goal dollar amount a month?
Yeah.
And what's left over for fun, whether it's vacations or eating out or whatever the case may be, movie night, date night,
Right.
all fun stuff.
I know of actually my husband and I do this. It's like, doesn't matter. We have a dollar level that it's like, if it's going to be over that much, let's have a conversation about it. Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise go have some fun, do whatever you want to do. Right.
Right.
But that's because we had that conversation.
Right. And that number is going to be different for everybody.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And at different points in your life.
Right.
You know, if you're a college student, it's a way different number than if you're in the working world, right? So
yes.
So awesome. So, I find money fascinating. This was probably why I became a accountant because it was just like, ooh, well, look, puzzles. I can solve puzzles. Awesome. So that's like so much good stuff in all of that. So many good offerings, so many interesting ways you can help people. So your courses are
the money plan, and then keys to investing.
Do they build on each other?
Yeah, you would start with the My Money Plan and then go to the keys to investing. And then there's the Amazon workbook I have out there if people want to dip their toe in, so to speak, to get a feel for how I work with people. And
it's a DIY version.
Yeah, it kind of walks you through things, and obviously, if they want more detail, there's coupons in the workbook where they could sign up for courses at a big discount, and all that good stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So many ways to educate yourself in a non-threatening way, right?
So that they're educated to make their own decisions and not have to worry about being taken advantage of, which I completely understand. And I don't want that to be the thing that's preventing millions of people from having a wonderful retirement, or not taking the action that they could take that is easy to have a better life.
So, because the listeners are going to go, what? So that noise that you're hearing is Debra being really passionate and hitting her desk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. It's like she feels very strongly about this. So
I do
own it. It's all good. It's perfect. That was just putting an emphasis on, like, look, we're trying to help people.
Yes, take action. You can do this.
Right? Oh my gosh, that's perfect. I come in and I say, what is your final word of wisdom? Do you have another one after that?
I just stop. It's like, whatever you think you can't do, or you've got money fears around, just know it's all in your head. It's all in your head. You can achieve the lifestyle that you want. That's what I would leave it there.
That's perfect. You can have it all, my friend, and you're allowed to have it all, and it's okay to have it all of that good stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Debra. It's been so good chatting with you again.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, my friends in podcast land, for listening. If you know someone who's afraid to look at their financials, their investments, their savings, what am I going to do if, send them over to Debra, because come on, it's easy if you just have someone explain it to you in an easy way, right? Right.
Absolutely.
So sharing is caring, my friends. Send it out into the world. Take care. I will see you next time. Hi, my friend. Thanks so much for listening to this entire podcast. If you found it useful and you're like me and you like helping others, please feel free to share this. Just give it a like, give it a comment. If you found something useful in it, there's a chance that someone else will find something useful as well. Also, if you have any questions at all, I can absolutely help, and I would love to help. You can email me at heather@prosperityflowcoaching.com. If you want more of this awesome content, you can follow me on Instagram, Heather Stewart Coaching. You can follow me on Facebook, Prosperity Flow Coaching. And I have a personal request. I want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. And if you could give me a review, hopefully a good one, if you could share, if you could send this out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you find your way to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend.